Here on WDKN and the 1FM. We think we've got things worked out this time, except I just hung up on my childhood idol. Jason, are you there?
I'm here, buddy. Thank you.
Man, that would be my luck. We've been talking about this interview on the radio all week, and Mr. Jason David Frank, the Green Power Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, joins us this morning. And I go to put him on hold, and what do? I hang up on you, man. That's not cool.
That's okay, man. I was like, oh, no, not again. But I appreciate you having me on here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you on. For folks at home that are listening, you're like the dean of Power Rangers. I was looking through some information to get ready for the interview. As I see it here on this, I don't know if you know these exist, but they got Power Rangers Wikipedias out here with all kinds of info on them. Let's see, you had 242 physical appearances in episodes. You've been on 7 seasons. You are the longest-running Power Ranger actor. And let's see, there was another one in here. You're one of 2 people in the last 5 years, I guess, to reprise your role, the other one being Paul Schreier. So, literally, you are the guy for Power Rangers.
Yeah. I'm just fortunate, man. The Green Ranger, I've been lots of different color Rangers. I was the green, and I was the white, and Red Zeo, Red Turbo, then I went back to Battle Thunder as Dr. Oliver. That was funny. But yeah, then I returned to Super Mega Force as the Green Ranger and the white and the other Rangers because I was all of them, so it was kind of get a story made out of that. But yeah, it was definitely the Green Ranger, I think, has become some world icon. It's like the Wolverine and X-Men, you go into Hot Topics and you got Green Ranger stuff, or, no matter how many Rangers there's been, the Green Ranger, has almost made every Hot Topic store, and, well, of course, the White Ranger now, too. But it's just been out there, and I guess maybe because it was the first evil Ranger or the first coolest-looking Ranger with a shield. I don't really know, but I'm just happy and fortunate to be that guy. So, I've been embracing it for years and been, with the fan base, I've been out there and, just got back from New York Comic-Con, and I've been on tour with Wizard World, and things have really been blowing up, and the fans are definitely there. So I'm just excited about that.
Well, you're coming to Nashville for Wizard World this weekend, and you mentioned the way you've embraced it. You do such a great job with social media. You're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those things to link up with the fans. When this movement kind of started, because conventions of this magnitude, I guess, are a fairly new thing, when did you start to embrace it?
Well, I've always embraced Power Rangers. You see, I mean, from day one, you can go back to look at some YouTube behind-the-scenes stuff, and I'm always like, green, 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 to all the kids back in the days 20 years ago. And I've always embraced it, and, I have martial arts academies called Rise of the Sun Karate Academies, and I have one in Los Angeles and 4 here in Houston. And I embrace it because that's what I do through the martial arts. And then I started MMA fighting, and I got a record of 7 wins and no losses. I started that. That created a whole new, I wouldn't say fan base, but validated me as a martial artist. Like, dude, my superhero TV is really doing really doing it in real life now in the cage, and that started. And then the trick too, everyone wants to know, what do you do and how do you do it? First of all, the character, I've been blessed to have a very popular character on the show, but at the same time, I don't want to let my fans down. I'm pumping my lines up. I'm taking chances. When I first started doing Comic-Cons, I did the, year ago, I'm on Wizard World Tour now, but the New York Comic-Con is the biggest con, and, my line killed everybody, and the headlines now are just, I beat out Hulk Hogan, and, it's everywhere, all over the news, everywhere. And I signed for 19 hours straight. Then I went to Wizard World in Chicago, which was a big Chicago Wizard World Tour. And the fans were there, but they come back to see me over and over again. I think because it's not an autograph they're getting, it's a relationship they're getting. I spend 2 to 4 hours to 5 hours of social media. The trick is that you have to do this kind of stuff. You can't hire someone to do it. You have to do it because fans remember you. They will come up to you. They'll say, do you remember I tweeted this or I posted this? And then I got to go through my memory and say yes, But I think I'm up 210,000 Facebook fans now. And that's not just, like Facebook. That's good for Facebook, but it's about how many people talk about your page. I always have about 40 to 50,000 people talking about the page. This week, in the last 3 days, it reached out to 1.1 million fans. My page reaches like 1.5 million every 7 days. So I have so much stuff going on, like a reality show, and I'm rebooting the Green Ranger movie, and I just got so much going on. But with all that said, Wizard World runs really good shows, and it's not just they have Power Rangers there. I mean, there's everybody. I mean, Norman Reedus from Walking Dead kills everyone's line. He's so popular. Then you got a lot of good shows there. So it's just a combination of everything. But I am new to the Comic Con world. I would say in the last year and a half, I've really made a name for myself out there. As far as not me, but my fans. Without my fans, I wouldn't be there. And I have the best fans in the world. They're the loudest. They're the best. I mean, and they know when I'm at a con, I'll take an iPad and I'll film them, and they'll be on my Facebook later, and then they'll try to spot me on my Facebook page. So, the fans know that I'm always doing stuff about them as well. So I think it's just it's pretty cool to have fans, and I'm fortunate to have them. And I think I'm the guy that realizes without them, I wouldn't be even on the phone today, and Power Rangers wouldn't be what it is right now. So the fans mean a lot to me. So does Wizard World. I mean, Wizard World, I'm doing their tour next year for them. They got a lot of new shows coming up. And if you've never been to a con before, I will tell you this, that, not only do they have, like, your favorite celebrities, they have comic books, they have just everything. I mean, I never get a chance to look around, but if I did, I definitely would, because I used to collect comics a long time ago, not anymore, but that's what got me started doing the Comic Cons.
Now, you do, as you mentioned, so much on Facebook. I've noticed it was actually after you started your MMA work that I started following the page on Facebook. And I want to talk a little bit about the MMA thing, because you've kind of put that on hold. But you had such a great start with the amateur run and then that first pro fight. But all your matches ended really fast. Do you feel like the fans are fussing? I mean, sure, they cheer when the Green Ranger theme plays and you come out and all that, but you have one that was like 23 seconds. I watched it on YouTube, and you gave the guy a rising knee, and he was just done. Talk a little bit about the MMA stuff and what that's like, and how you're able to get through one so fast.
Well, first of all, I love my fans, and they know I love them, but I don't care one way or another. When I'm inside that cage, and my face is on the line and my body's on the line, I don't care if I'm going to give you a ride for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6 rounds. I'm going to end it as fast as I can, because I just want to go home. When you're locked in that cage, it's no game. Your face will get split, you know what I mean? You will get knocked out in front of everybody, and then next thing you know, you got your childhood hero knocked out in front of millions and millions of people around the world. So for me, it's not a game. It's just business in there, and I want to end it as fast as I possibly can. People ask when I'm going to get something going next time. I want something good. The whole rumors with the CM Punk thing and all that. CM Punk's a great guy. I love him. I see him at Wizard World tours all the time. But, it's out there again after the New York Comic Con that, with the CM Punk thing. But if I got a good fight like that fans would definitely love to watch. And CM Punk, people are saying he's just a wrestler. Come on, the guy knows. He studies jiu-jitsu. You got to look at Brock Lesnar. Everyone was saying, oh, Brock Lesnar's just a wrestler. He was a world champ after 5 fights. He held the title of the world, and so you got to give credit to these wrestler guys, too. So if I had a good fight like that, or I just wanted to spar Anderson Silva for a good fundraiser up in Brazil, and, I'm trying to get stuff like that. I don't want to fight Joe Blow, you know what I mean? I want to fight something that's going to be worthy. It's enough where I could stop touring and stop doing what I do and give myself 8 to 10 weeks of just nothing but training and have a good fight with, good ticket sales and a bigger venue and, stuff like that. So that's what I want to do. And as far as, getting through fights, and it happens. It's what it is. I mean, I'm highly trained at what I do, and sometimes, some of the guys they got is the amateur world. You're looking into, going into the amateur world, you're not going to find, I've been a pro for many years. I've been training since I was 4, so you put me in the amateur world, that's going to happen. I mean, it should happen. If I'm going 5 rounds in an amateur fight and it's a close fight, then why even turn pro? I mean, if you're not kicking butt in the amateur world and you're really a pro, then why not? You know what I mean? The only difference between amateur and pro is that, you know, you get paid for one and the other one you don't. You can get sponsors. Everything I do it for fun. The minute I don't have fun is, you know what I mean? Like, is a minute where I just think that we don't do what we want to do because we're not having fun. So it was a fun time for me. The industry was not fun. You know, everybody wanted to fight me and, you know, and put a price tag on me everywhere. And it was great because it made me fight hard. And I just went to Thailand in February and got my Arjan, which is super hard to get. It's a master under the Muay Thai government. So instead of crew now, I'm called Arjan. And then my wife got an Arjan, and she actually fought in Thailand. She had her first fight February, which is going to be released on a reality show. But I brought her to Bangkok at a big stadium to fight down there, and she fought, and she won her first row. I mean, it was 40-something seconds, and I told her the same thing I tell everyone else: end it fast, get out there, and just go, kill, kill, kill. Don't mess around. You have no time to hop around and showboat, because look what happened to Anderson Silva. Next thing you know, you're showboat, and then you get knocked out, and you lose your title, and then now it's regret. You know what I mean? And that's something that you just can't do in this industry. So I don't really care what my fans have to say about that. I think they're a little bummed that it ended so fast, but at the same time, I think they understand where I'm coming from. That's one thing where I say, well, too bad, guys. You get what you get. Don't throw a fit. That's just the way it is.
Jason David Frank, my guest this morning, talking about ending the MMA fights quickly. It probably didn't hurt that the guy was wearing a Ninja Turtle costume, right?
No, that definitely, yeah. That I had that one.
Now,
if I didn't win that one, that would have looked bad for me. So
let's go back to the early '90s, though. Whenever you started the show, because obviously, as you said, it all started with the Green Ranger. You had such a great run. What was it like? You came in later into the Power Rangers series, and then were originally supposed to be written out, and somebody else was going to replace you as the White Ranger. But you were so stinking popular, they couldn't get rid of you. What was that like to know that you had that much fan support?
It was good, man. I know, you know, starting on the show and getting something that big, I just was very passionate about what I did. And to be honest, that was fine if I got written out. I just wanted to do my role the best I could before I moved on. And, you know, I had my own show. They moved me on to a show called VR Troopers, which was called Cybertron at the time. And so actually, I was young and I had my own stage, and it was a one-man show. And, you know, I got my whole studio. It was like one of those things. That's why I was moving. Once the Green Ranger lost his powers, I was moved on right next door to my own studio. And, you know, I had everything myself, and it was great. It was like my own show. And I'm glad I didn't do it, but, you know, because, I mean, God works that way. But it was supposed to be a VR Troopers, and then ended up, once the Green Ranger lost his powers, literally, and this is no lie, like, Saban was freaking out because parents were calling saying, look, you've got to do something. My kid's upset. He won't eat. He's not going to school. And then they put a petition. There really was a petition around the United States with kids signing it. I mean, this petition went around with crayons. It was like, bring the Green Ranger back. And so when Fox got the petition, they were like, uh-oh. And Saban said the same thing, so they came to me and said, look, we want to put you back on the show. We know you got your own show, but, you know, what do you want to do? I said, that's fine, man. I mean, you know, I'll go back. And then they, you know, ran out of Japanese footage, so then they brought back the White Ranger, which was like the highest, you know, rating show ever. You know, it was like, who's the White Ranger? And this is what, like, I think a lot of people think, like, even a lot of co-stars call and say, well, how do you doing this? And, you know, I got 5,000 Facebook fans, and you got 210,000. I mean, what are you doing different? There's nothing that I'm doing different. I've just embraced the show for years, and my character was a popular character. You know, and I just realized the other day that even with Amy Jo Johnson, is that me and Amy stole the hearts of little boys and girls as first crushes. And you'll never forget that. You know what I mean? Like, boys will never forget, oh, Amy Jo Johnson was my first crush. And when I hear girls, it's drilled, and you know what I mean? Like, it's that image that's burnt in them. And I see my little girl 9, who's got little crushes on these One Direction music bands. And I start, you know what I mean? You start thinking, wow. I mean, she's 9, and I start hearing these. When I was 9, I used to, you know, and so I think they'll never forget your first crush. And it happened to be that Tommy and Kimberly had this love relationship going on. that, you know, stole little boys and little girls' hearts around the world. It made boys jealous. It made girls jealous of Amy, and you know, I get all these things, you know.
There were a lot of guys that were very jealous of you, and I'm sure a lot of girls that were very jealous of her.
I get it all the time, and you know, it's just and now everyone's growing up to that point, and you know, and it's just one of those things where, you know, I embrace what I do. You know, I know Amy does a lot of different stuff, but I mean, as far as really embracing the Power Rangers, I'm the guy. I mean, you know what I mean, and I've it's not that I've changed just over years to be like, oh, now look, this could be money made. It's not that at all, because I have a great life. I have a clothing company, Christian clothing line called Jesus and Tap. I represent fighters around the world. I got karate schools. I literally do these Comic-Cons for fun and for another reason, for people like you, to get my message out to everyone else, because without the media or interviews, then my message would go nowhere. So that's why I'm always open and up to any and all media as best as I can, from you know, the small guy to the big guy. All interviews are treated the same, and that's what I've always done. And you know, it's going to be you know, it's you can tell how big things are. The White Ranger's doing a thing like the White Ranger versus the Scorpion on a company called Bat in the Sun, and it's on a channel that they run the Mortal Kombat stuff, you know, the web series on, and it's going to be a big thing. Like, I just saw some of it the other night. It looks really good, but it's like a battle with superheroes, and this guy, I'm working with him on my reality show, you know, getting my reality show out there next year, but he just said this is like the most popular the most popular episode he's ever done. It's just, he can't believe the fans embracing it so much. But you know, I talk to him, and my fans usually do take care of me, and I'm happy with that. But and I don't think it's a one-time thing with fans. I see them all different places of the con, and definitely makes me feel good that they come back and see me. They're like, hey, this is the third time, and so, you know, I'll remember them and stuff like that. But it's a good thing. Comic-Cons are fun, and it's a good chance to kind of meet your celebrities and go out there and, you know, get a chance to, I guess, just be yourself. A lot of people dress up, some people don't, but it's not required, you know.
Well, I won't keep you much longer. Jason David Frank is my guest. I do want to ask you, though, you've gone back to the series twice, once with Dino Thunder and now with Power Rangers Mega Force. Is that just more for the fans, or was it something that you wanted to do? What led you to go back for both of those visits?
Well, the Dino Thunder, I had some producers that were involved. Doug Sloan and Ann Knapp, they were involved a long time ago on Mighty Morphin, and they went back and they were executives. And these guys called me, Disney did, and said ratings are going down. You know, Disney took the franchise and ran it to the ground. Saban brought it back. That's why it's revised. Everything is just revamped again, and it's a relaunch because Saban knows what they're doing. And so I was hesitant going back with Disney. And so they said, please, you know, the ratings. And so, you know, with my wife, she, you know, never really seen me. We've only been together for 12 years, so, you know, she would see me film on the show and all that stuff. So I went back to do that. And it was just cool to go back, you know. I mean, I went back as a doctor, and I was a Black Ranger and stuff like that. And then that was that. And then time went on, and then Power Rangers just really started blowing up, and my fan base has been blowing up. And, you know, being on tour and just seeing these 28-year-old guys or 30-year-old guys just growing up and coming back to being an 88-year-old kid again, like, oh, my God, you got to go back. You know, it's just, how can you not for the fans? And one of my things was, you know, look, I'll go back to Super Mega Force for two reasons. For my fans, and my girl looks up to me so much, and she's 9, and she hasn't got a chance to see the Power Rangers. So I took her over there, and she had a great time, and we're filming my reality show called, you know, My Morphin Life, and so we made that part of a episode, and yeah, I went back for the fans, but man, it was kind of cool. I mean, after all these years, I can still fit in spandex, and, you know, going back as a Green Ranger, and, you know, it was good. It was definitely good for the fans, and it was definitely good for me, and, you know, really to revamp the Green Ranger and start that relationship back again with Bond to get this Green Ranger movie going. They'd be silly not to, so, you know, we're working on it. Bat in the Sun, we got a concept. We're going to be shooting something really soon, and we'll be taking it to Spawn and saying, here you go, and hopefully we get the blessings on it, and it goes into a full-blown movie. But I don't see it winning. I mean, there's just too many fans and too many hype on it right now that, you know, people definitely want to see it. I want to see it happen.
Yeah, that is something that's taken off recently. Since you brought it up, I think it was at New York, right? You mentioned that the Green Ranger kind of being the Wolverine of the Power Rangers, and the idea of either a solo series or a solo movie. I like the idea, and I think this is what's caught on, the idea of making it darker, like we've seen with some of the Wolverine stuff, or the Dark Knight, that kind of thing, making it for adults.
Yeah, no, it definitely will be, man. We're going to borderline it. It can't be rated R, but PG-13 is where we're going for it, because it's still got to protect the franchise. And one way or another, you know, even though 20 years later, everyone's still kids, and we're still all kids. And so, but yeah, definitely it's going to be geared towards that. And, you know, it'll go. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of putting it together, making it a great concept, and, you know, making sure Saban has their rights in it, because it's their show. They got an image to protect. So the first thing they got to do is make sure that it can protect the whole franchise image. And so we're going to make it right, dark enough, not too rated R or anything like that. But that's what we're working for, and you know, we'll see what happens. But we definitely got the age group for it. Definitely got the fans, and the fans just keep growing and growing. I mean, the first time at New York Comic-Con, I was slammed. I had a 6-hour-long line for one whole entire day, and I was there for 3 days, and the lines were just did not stop. I mean, I was just so fortunate, and I signed for 19 hours straight, and didn't take one break whatsoever. And now, you know, Wizard World, I think they added, I don't know, like tons of shows. I think there's about 16, 17 shows next year, all different parts of the United States and things like that I'm going to be part of. So definitely Wizard World's definitely growing too, and I'm going to be hitting different markets that I haven't hit before, so we'll give an opportunity for fans to come out. I want to meet them, they can meet me and stuff like that. It's just it's a good opportunity to be different places than all in the same place.
Well, we're looking forward to having you in Nashville this weekend. If you see a guy with a bright red stripe down the middle of his hair in a Green Ranger costume, that's me. I'll come up and shake your hand.
Okay. I'll definitely take care of you, man. Let's take some pictures for Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff, man. I definitely appreciate it. Now, listen, if you can text me the link, I can repost this on my page for all my fans, so they can hear it and stuff like that.
Awesome. We will do that. I appreciate you taking the time, Jason. One thing, I had some fans say that I had to get you to do this before we got off. There's some kids out here, Sawyer and Cooper are listening, and they wanted to hear just one time the It's Morphin' Time from you.
All right, here we go. Are you guys ready? I'll say two things. Ready? And it's Morphin' Time! Dragon Sword!
Okay, see, that's like a nerd thing for all of us now. That was the coolest thing I've ever been a part of. We really appreciate you taking the time, Jason. Thanks for coming to Nashville. We'll all see you on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we'll look forward to catching up with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, buddy.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Jason David Frank has been my guest for the last, forever. Creek Betty and I are in here. Come here. Grab the mic for a second, Lindsay. Come around here. This has been one of those things. I mean, we grew up on this stuff, so that was
the most epic thing in the world.
that was too cool. He just said it's Morphin' Time on the radio, on our radio station, and Dragon's Word.
Yeah, I don't know, I could just do nothing but smile when he said that.
So cool. So glad that you guys got to be a part of it. That's actually going to do it for me, because I chewed up the rest of my show. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And Creek Betty's coming up with Swap and Shop in just a few minutes. You're listening to WDKN and the one up here on